Okay, I'm gonna try this again because video is not going well. I'm gonna be reviewing Exorcist II: The Heretic, which was released in 1977, and it's directed by John Boorman, and it stars Linda Blair, Richard Burton, Max von Sydow, Louise Fletcher, and James Earl Jones. Now, I did not look up the plot for this movie because when I watched it, I really didn't understand what the hell was going on. But from what I could gather, this was my interpretation of the movie. Now, I believe what the movie was about is that Richard Burton's character, who was a priest named Father Lamont, he is hired by the Catholic Church to investigate the death and also exorcisms of Father Merrin. Now, he meets up with, he finds out that Reagan, the girl from the first movie, is at a hospital for special needs children. And the only way he can figure out what happened to Merrin during the exorcism that happened in Washington, D.C. back in 1973 is that he has to hook up to this device that can you get hooked up to this device with another person sitting with you, and it can transfer that person's thoughts and memories and feelings into you experience what they're experiencing. And they find out that Marin was killed during the exorcism by Pazuzu. Pazuzu stopped his heart and he had a heart attack. So for some reason, they find out that the demon's name is Pazuzu, and he goes to Ethiopia, where Marin performed one of his first exorcisms, his major one, where he tries to exorcise a demon, or he exorcised a demon out of a teenage boy. And basically, that is the plot of the movie from what I could gather. And I'm sorry I sound like in a pissy mood. It's just because I've been doing this video over and over again. But anyways, now, from what I've told you earlier, and just from the general consensus on this movie, a lot of people already know that this movie has the reputation of being one of the worst movies ever made, and it's considered one of the worst sequel in the Exorcist franchise. So I am going to be in the majority and say that I did not like this movie again. This is only my second time viewing this movie, and I saw it back years ago, and I did not like it because it was confusing and very boring. And it's the same reasons why I did not like it this time around. Now, I did pay a little bit more attention to it this time, and I actually did enjoy the cinematography, the set design. Some of the acting was okay, but mainly and the music too. Now, the music's by Ennio Morricone. He is a well-renowned film composer. He's mainly known for composing like classical movies, I guess. I don't know how to term them, and also spaghetti westerns. He also scored a few like horror movies, like The Thing, the John Carpenter, the Thing, and also Salò. I know Salò is not a horror movie though, but he does the music for this movie, and I did like some parts of it, like the melodic parts and stuff, but sometimes it did get annoying with like the chanting and like the wails and stuff, and it got kind of overwhelming sometimes. I'll try to do an impression of the wails. It's kind of like, ah, ah, like it was just very repetitive. Now, the acting is kind of iffy. Like, Richard Burton's acting, I'm just gonna be honest, I didn't feel was that great. It seems like he was phoning it in, to be honest. And I've heard, I actually didn't look it up, but I've heard that a lot of times he was drunk on set, so maybe that's why his performance didn't come off that well. But I also recognize that a lot of times when he did his dialogue, he kind of repeated words like 2 or 3 times. I don't know if that was like in the script or it was just him, but it was very recognizable to me. Like, I did enjoy Louise Fletcher in the movie. She was really good. Because I remember her, and like with Richard Burton, I know Richard Burton best from, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. And he plays like an alcoholic asshole in that one. He did a really amazing job in that movie. Um, Now, like Louise Fletcher, she plays a doctor in Exorcist II, but she's like a good, nice, compassionate doctor. But she played in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and she played a mean, bitchy doctor in that one. But like I said, I enjoyed her performance in this movie. Max von Sydow is not really in the movie that much, but he does a great job. He's only in flashback scenes, but they're not that long. And you actually get to see him in his younger form. Because like I said in the Exorcist review, he was actually younger. He was in his 40s, but they put a old man makeup on him. And you actually get to see his younger self in this movie. Um, James Earl Jones is not really in the movie much either, but I don't know why his character was not that important to this movie, but what he was given, it was pretty good. Besides when he's dressed up as a leopard and he roars, I don't get why that was in the movie. Okay. Um, and Linda Blair I felt was a little bit better in this movie. I mean, she is a little bit older now, so she has more like acting experience, I guess. But yeah, was there anyone else? I don't think so. Also, Ned Beatty has a small cameo in this movie as well. He plays the guy that I don't even know what his purpose was, but Father Marin, or not Marin, Father Lamont runs into him when he goes to like this sanctuary area because he gets attacked by these Ethiopians because they believe he's a Satan worshiper. But he comes Ned Beatty's character comes in a plane and he's carrying this crucifix with him, this big crucifix with him. And I guess he's kind of like a historian or something, but he wasn't utilized that much in the movie. Yeah. Oh, what else did I say? Like the set design. The set design was really good. Especially the Ethiopia set design is because most of it's set on this temple or church on the side of a mountain, but there's just like these little crevices like right there that Father Marin had to perform the exorcism in. And there's this really goofy scene where a guy falls through these cracks, these crevices, and dies. But you could tell like he was on a wire, and it was just very goofy looking. Um, but I did like that because like when it pans out, like when he's doing the exorcism, it pans out, and you get to see the whole like area, and it's just like desert and rocks and mountains. That's all it is, and it looks very like otherworldly and nightmarish and hellish and apocalyptic. Um, yeah. Now I don't have a picture to show you, but it's just very like otherworldly, and the whole Ethiopia set is like that. Also, some of the other sets, like the hospital that Reagan goes to, is kind of weird, like how it's set up, because there's just like these glass rooms and like doors. It's kind of like little pods where like the kids sit in. It's just a weird set design. And also like Reagan's penthouse apartment is like, I guess, I don't know if it's like deco art or what it is. But it's just like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Suspiria remake, where there's just like mirrors everywhere, and it's like metallic and cold looking and futuristic. Like there's a part where Reagan goes out onto the rooftop of her apartment, and there's just one thing, the roof don't have no railings, which is weird, and they're like really high up. Because like there's a shot where it shows, because it's in New York City, there's a shot where it shows like how long, like how tall the building is, and it goes all the way down the other side of the, it goes all the way down. You see the street, and it's a long drop, and it's like very vertigo-ish. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm not speaking well. Um, but when she goes out onto the rooftop, there's like these little birdhouses up there, and but they're like metallic, and like metallic case. I don't know, it's weird looking. Metallic boxes, I mean, and it just looks really weird. I don't know, it's just weird. But I don't know. I have a thing with like 70s decor and colors. They're like very off-putting to me. I don't know why. I thought I was the only one, but there's a lot of people too that find like that, like 70s decor and colors disturbing for some reason. I'm glad I'm not the only one. But, yeah. What else? Oh, the cinematography. Now, I know this movie came out way before Evil Dead came out, but I'm just gonna say the it has like an Evil Dead kind of cinematography with like an Evil Dead with the demon's POV, like the camera like zigzags and goes around, like swirls around and stuff. They have a shot like this in the movie where the locusts are flying through like Ethiopia, and there's one when it's flying through Ethiopia and it's doing like the zigzagging and the camera swirling around and stuff. I thought that was a really cool shot, and I was like, that maybe this is where Sam Raimi got the idea from this movie. He probably got it from somewhere else. I'm just saying, I don't know, but yeah. Also for set design, I forgot to mention when Father Lamont and not Louise Fletcher, but the nanny from the first movie, go back to the house, the Exorcist house. Like, there's a shot, it's like raining outside and stuff, and there's a shot of the staircase, and it's just rainy and dark and depressing looking. Like, it looks like, I don't know, it just looks very creepy looking. It's just dark and rainy, like in this dark alley. And then like the house is like there's barbed wire fence around the whole house, and it's not like decrepit or anything, but it just looks very unsettling. And like when they go in, like everything, I don't know if like the family was still living there if there was a family living there at the time, or if it's the McNeil family that was still living there. But they were moving shit out still, and there's like the bed from the first movies there, and some furniture and stuff, but it's like all like has plastic, and some of it's packed up. I don't know, it just had like this very weird, desolate kind of feeling to it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else more to say about this movie. Um, there's I was trying to explain the ending in one of my videos, but it was just very long and convoluted. But basically, the ending was like it just went bonkers. I mean, like, the rest of the movie is weird. Like, there's a lot of weird imagery and shit in it. But but it was very, like, slow burn and kind of tense. But when it got to the ending, it just turned into, like, an action movie for some reason. Like, there's a bunch of, like, explosions and car accidents and shit. It's just very weird. And, like, and then, like, at the end, too, like, a lot of people, like, two people get possessed. It's Father Lamont and the nanny. And they just kind of get possessed out of nowhere, and you don't know, like, what the fuck happened to get them possessed, but they just are. Um, yeah, I really don't know. Oh, yeah. This is the first time in the franchise where you actually figure out what the demon's name is, which is Pazuzu. And they repeat that name so many times in this movie, along with the James Earl Jones character's name. I forgot what his name is. It's like, they said so many times, but I forgot. It's like Kokomo or Kukumano or something like that. They kept saying his damn name over and over again too. Yeah, it's like I said, this movie is known for being one of the worst movies ever made. And I can't really defend it that much, only besides on certain things like cinematography, the set design, sometimes the acting, and the music. But anyways, that's my review.